morning, Hickory Sunrise.
Good morning.
Please join with me in honoring our country with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Steve May.
Yes.
Bell, find the clerk.
Let us bow. Precious Father, we thank you for this day, Lord. We thank you for this time together. Lord, we thank you for these men around the table, Lord, and we thank you for their hearts. Service above self. Lord, we ask you to bless the food we receive for the nourishment of our body, and us to thy service in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. And we have an absolutely worthy substitute for our Sergeant at Arms.
Worthless? Is that what you said? Good morning, Hickory Sunrise.
Good morning, Wayne.
Thank you, I'll take that.
Good morning, Mr.
First of all, we have a guest. Ryan, would you introduce your guest?
Sure. I have Tim Turner with me today, and he is a senior vice president, I believe, at People's Bank, particularly with credit loans. And Tim goes to church with me, and I really like you guys a lot.
Why bring him here?
So I wanted to bring him to meet my friends. And, he was living in Sanford and was a member of a Rotary club there. And so when his family moved here about 10 years ago, I guess, he hasn't been able to join another Rotary. And I told him about what we do and that we're all. And
he came anyway.
Yeah, he came anyway. So I'm happy to have him here today.
Welcome.
Mr. Sergeant at Arms, I think he needs to be fined from two perspectives. One is he didn't know very much about his friend. You know, he said he thought.
Absolutely. Embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus the other piece with 703.
Yes, you did show up a little late after inviting a guest, so that's $2 for a pot.
So he has to pay it?
He has to pay it.
No.
Steve?
Yes,
Now, since I had my hand up before you butted in,
I know, he butted in. That's just
I
amazing.
just didn't want to get one thing clear.
Is that $1 million?
When did he find out that we had to be his friend? When was that? I didn't read that part.
Okay, so I'm going to stop bringing guests. It doesn't apply to you, Michael. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
This is horrible news. You know, this club has gone through some international incidents over the past 10 or 12 years that I've been associated with this club. Who's this for?
Him?
Steve?
No, you pay.
No, I ain't paying his fine.
No.
It's a fine pot. Fine pot.
We need to find him $1 for not knowing what we're doing.
Yeah, no, what?
It's really, Richard was distraught all week. I had to calm him down several times because he has attacked several things, one being the Lutheran faith, and I'm going to get Joe and Richard and Gene to talk about how distraught they were. But this man has traveled, it looks like he spent most of his time, we're talking about Wayne Honeycutt, he has spent most of his time in Vienna, and he made the mistake of emailing me his pictures. So Rick's got one that was sent from Interpol, proving that the man has just gone amok. If you don't mind,
It's amazing.
I recognize him. Yeah.
I recognize him.
That's disgusting.
So I'm going to send some more pictures around.
It's all
guys.
foam.
It is wig. It is wig.
There's nobody else.
You guys can take a look at what he spent his time doing in Europe.
How embarrassing for the club.
But before I read some of the emails, I want you to know that not only did he attack the Lutheran faith, he attacked Jake.
Oh.
And that's a serious offense.
Oh. Say it isn't so.
Yes, so this is a picture of Jake.
Has Richard seen this?
Yeah. He said it resembled Jake's relative.
Yeah.
That's cruel.
What is it?
Said that was Jake. His relatives. Did you see it? Yeah. Jake's relative.
So there's several back and forth emails, and he writes that the pressure is mounting and he's going to have to leave Prague tomorrow for Vienna because Richard and I were on his tail. Interpol's on his tail now. So we go back and forth all week long. He knew what he was doing. He was setting himself up for fine. So my question to the club is, he's actually made fun of what he was doing, and you can see that he was just an embarrassment to the club. He was running through Europe. Richard, do you want to say anything? I mean, I know you're
Well, I think
very
it's
upset.
disgusting. First of all, that he would drink, and those were $2 beers, and I don't know how many of those he had.
You ever look at all the fines he's taken from us?
No. Yeah, all the $2 fines he took, and that's what he's buying.
Somebody needs to check the accounts for this. I mean, it's suspicious. He disappears for a while. He's got all this money to spend on beer and stuffed animals. Bring that back as a gift.
It sounds like you had a little psychological problem too with the beer and stuffed animals. That's
Yeah.
quite a combination.
So I'll read you one excerpt and then I'll sit down. So Richard sends, I have reached out to Schloss Eggenberg and have asked them to put out an APB for a gentleman with gray hair looking for $2 steins. And then he writes back, I have told everybody I'm Bob Steiger. And then Richard writes back, is it the truth? And then the last conversation was, you will need to check with Bob Steiger. I'm just trying to get out of Vienna by using my good friend's name. I don't think his credit is too strong here, so I may be here longer. So you guys have to assess the damages. I mean, what do you think before he gets here? $5?
He owes us $5, but
$5.
if you drink enough beer, those stuffed animals begin to look pretty good.
That's all I have. Real quick, if you guys remember, we do have a field trip May 8th. I'd like to know how many, a show of hands, how many are going to show up for the field trip. We're supposed to meet in the parking lot and then all go in as one group. Okay. That is back to Starstead.
And we'll keep talking about it up until that
Yes.
time.
Okay, Rick, all yours. Got a full meeting.
We have a club assembly today, and a few things I'm going to talk about. First of all, this Friday is our stand-down. And many of you will be there. I'll have T-shirts, volunteer T-shirts, for those of you who filled out the form, and I got your name and everything, I got yours and everything. I'll have those tomorrow at CBCC. If you can't come by tomorrow, I'll have them with me, obviously, the day of the stand-down, early that morning. I know Phil and Richard are working with Austin to get the food. We have 400 hot dogs, 400 hamburgers. We have one of the guys on our committee has gotten the bread. A question came up, got a text one of our veterans today about the possibility of rain on Friday. Do we need any covering out there?
We have 2 easy ups so far.
We need at least one more.
We need at least one more.
Okay.
I've got half a dozen.
Oh, good.
Oh, well, that ought to do it.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Bring two more. That would help.
Yeah.
It's just for you guys and for people going through, but they're going to eat inside. There are tables set up for dining on the inside.
So if it's really raining, the forecast is, as Ron pointed out, is sort of like scattered showers to light showers. But if it really starts to pour down, should we consider, is it possible to move the serving line into that
Vestibule area.
vestibule? Thank you.
Yeah, because you're not cooking in
Right,
there.
you cook
so
and
yeah, it is possible.
Okay.
You know, there's an area, Rick, on the back where the pull-up door is, that oftentimes when we have professional development, that's where they set up and serve.
Yeah.
And it's covered.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what Phil's talking about, with the pull-up door.
I think he was talking about out front. where you-
There's an eave that hangs
No,
over out there.
in the
where-
back where we cook.
Okay.
Yeah, right where you same place.
Okay.
I'll
Yeah.
be there tomorrow, we can scope it out.
Okay, I'll be there around 10 o'clock.
By tomorrow, or do you want me to scope all that
You
out?
can scope it.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, I've got, Exodus Works is going to our warehouse, tomorrow morning. I'm gonna meet them there at 9 o'clock. They're gonna load the truck. I've got the tool to load that thing.
Yeah.
But we had a bunch of guys, yesterday, and girls, at the warehouse loading up the pallets. We've got 8 pallets ready to be loaded up of items to be giving away to veterans and stuff, so they're gonna take care of that. I'm gonna be with them, make sure it gets on the truck okay, and I'll be at CVCC by 10 o'clock and spend the day there. So if you need a t-shirt, I'll have your names, I'll check you off and get your shirt.
So what time
Rick,
is-
the official Weather Channel forecast, rain, thunderstorms possible mainly in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So it sounds like,
I think lunch might be okay. It's a typical,
yeah,
summertime kind of thing.
That's what it looks
8
like.
in the afternoon, but thank you all, those of you who can be there. And Tim, the stand down is a one-day event where we provide a myriad of services for veterans. And last year we had over 300 show up, so that was good. Don't know if we'll have that many this year, but we have more volunteers we can use. I was told this yesterday, and we have almost 60 different agencies have already will have tables there and things of that nature. So it's going to be a good event. We're looking forward to it.
Rick, I've heard nothing but positive since we moved to CVCC.
It's been outstanding.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
And Jim can attest. Jim was the chairperson for the first 2 years, and I've been for the last 6. But when we were at the American Legion, logistically it wasn't bad because you had that long exhibition hall, and the veterans would come in one side and just work their way to the end, go out the other door, get stuff, and go, and get lunch, of course. But now but then we also had to shuttle veterans from the Legion to CVCC's dental lab. Now it's right there, and if you get a chance, if you're there Friday, and once things have gotten started, go upstairs in the balcony and look down at the floor. I mean, that's, to see the entire operation as the veterans are moving through, it's pretty good. And Kenny, I've already been talking to Colonel Moose, and we got ROTC kids going to be there. We'll have a JROTC color guard. Dr. Hinshaw will be there this time, and he's looking forward to it. So,
well, another thing too is that at the American Legion, we couldn't get in until Thursday, and that was when they when they had every Thursday they have the big
flea market
thing, and then almost every time we had it on Friday, they would have an affair scheduled for Saturday. So we had to totally clean up, get everything out, including all the rental stuff we had.
Yeah, and we rented chairs and tables.
Yes.
And we also got chairs and tables from the National Guard. So we had to put them all up, take them all down, sweep out, clean up. CBCC, Rebecca and her staff, they do it all. I mean, there's nobody setting tables up this afternoon.
And down there, we had to hang material in the ceilings.
And Rhino did a lot of that.
For acoustics, and we had to
just
have
for
all that
sound.
down also.
And we don't, 2 years ago, when we first moved to the college, a bunch of us got there Wednesday evening to help set up. It was already set up.
Yeah.
It just, the partnership is absolutely wonderful.
Oh, it's just so much better as far as
it's
not a working
no question about it.
What time is that we actually serving?
I think we said we would, the stand-down committee, start serving around 11 o'clock. And we're going to open up the giveaway, I think, at noon for folks.
So what time do we need to be there?
Well, back it up. I mean, that's, you guys are doing the cooking and stuff. If we're going to serve at 11, what time should people be there?
Yeah, probably 9. I mean, we'll be there earlier,
Okay.
but probably 9 if you're just gonna help serve and those kind of things.
And they'll have a ticket, and you don't have to, there'll be somebody collecting tickets. So anybody coming through should be okay. But what we've also told folks is, and this is what happens, once they go through clothing and boot and shoe giveaway, they get the wristband thing cut off, and they have to go out a door, which means they can't come back in. Doesn't mean they can't eat, though. All right. What we've told folks is, if you haven't eaten, go around the building, and just because you guys are outside, and so if somebody comes up, feed them. We're not. Don't worry about it. You know.
Last year with the guys getting dental work, they couldn't eat. Yeah. Do we have any to go? Should we get any to go containers?
Well, yeah, we could, and we probably will do that.
Somebody picking up things?
So we need, think about the to-go
containers for the guys who had the teeth removed, they couldn't eat last year, or I felt badly, we just,
yeah.
I'm a plane
do
man
that.
to walk
It
out
wasn't
to
that they
the
couldn't
plane.
get there, they just couldn't eat because of the dental work.
done.
Okay,
And
good point.
so,
And we have one of our guys is getting food, he's already ordered food for the dentists themselves. We have 13 dentists signed up this year, and they're 3 or 4 people. They're each bringing some of their own assistants, so it's pretty good.
do I need to get some trays?
Where'd you go about this?
Richard wrote that.
Okay, Richard, you,
You can double check with him.
Yeah, I think so. How many to-goes do you think we ought to get? I'm thinking about those containers at the.
Yeah, that's what.
yeah, that's what I was thinking, maybe 50?
I tell you what, I put 100 of them from Western Steer today.
You get them?
Yeah,
Okay, thanks,
What
Kenny.
about the regular plates?
regular plate.
You want me to get, I'll get the regular plates. You just get to go.
I'll go by and get those from Western Steer. I'll get Brooks to let you have.
Thanks, Kenny.
I hadn't thought about chips. Are we doing chips?
See, we didn't do chips before.
No, and I don't know, we used to get it from R.W. Garcia, but I don't know if anybody's done that this year, to be honest with you. So I wouldn't worry about it, just whatever we got, we got.
Okay. So where do they go? I wasn't able to stay last year. Where do they go to eat once they get their food?
Inside.
Okay.
In other words, they'll come out through the big doors, but also go back in through there.
Circle the table and go
Yeah,
back.
and there are lots of tables set up just for dining.
Good, good. Okay.
And last year, did we bring coolers for the?
No, I thought somebody provided those.
They had like 3 coolers there, and we also used Austin's big cooler.
So I thought we did.
Yeah, I asked Austin about that as well.
Okay.
But certainly if any of those big roll around cylinder
Yeah,
things,
Pepsi thing.
yeah, we have
Yeah,
to show
we've got-
them.
We've got some.
Yeah, I think we used them last year.
That would be great.
Yeah.
And you
What
all
would
would,
we put?
Yeah, like,
you all have tons of ice, right?
Yeah, they have a couple of things, they're like triangles on top.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about
Plexiglass.
That's
roll
right,
around.
yeah, big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the drinks.
Yeah. Cause we
didn't provide drinks, somebody else provided drinks.
Roger was just pointing out, they've also got bigger things in those cylinders.
Yeah, they got these like rolling things with
Yeah.
plexiglass on top. They're
That's what
kind
I
of
used as
triangular.
well.
I assume Pepsi's gonna give us.
I
Put
think
bottled
we use
water
all
and
that they have.
soda and
Silver
whatever in
thing.
there.
And bugs.
Pepsi, I think, is going to deliver at least 500 cans of stuff tomorrow. I think we got
And they
it
got
covered.
they got
And
They got a cooler in the back too. They can put extras in the cooler until they're ready to be put out.
that's where Rebecca comes in. She just does a marvelous job. What do you need? She goes and gets it. All right, wheelchairs, before I talk about the budget, last time when Bill Biddle was here, that side of the table, challenged this side of the table to getting wheelchairs. And I don't know if you got the email from Bill, but I don't know if he sent it to everybody or not. But I think, yeah, I put it in my update to y'all last week, that you make the check out to Live Boundless. And I have Bill's address here. I've already sent my donation
I
in.
thought we were gonna do it as a club, Rick.
Well, I wasn't clear on that. I thought, there are 2 things in my mind that came up. One was the individual challenges. In other words, you said so-and-so and I are gonna go in too, we're gonna buy a chair.
Yeah.
And then it was brought up, what about the club doing it? And I remember saying, that's the committee to talk about. I think Jenny was sitting here.
Well, what I'm saying is we give G the money and G writes the check from the club.
It'll be a pass through either way.
I got you.
mean,
I
see what I'm
see.
saying?
I see.
If they want
That's
to
fine.
say-
Yeah,
That's fine.
not
I
donation.
understand now. I got you. But I've already sent mine in, so it is what it is.
You have to be different, huh?
I have to be not really bright with, this is what's going on.
So let me just, for those of you who gave me a check, and if it was made out to the club, then what I'll do is it'll be, just be a pass-through. I'll write a check with, and then same with the charges. I'll just take what you charged and pass that, and make one check for the people who've given me so far.
Okay, perfect.
One check.
I think we've met our challenge, haven't we, on this end?
Yes.
But how many, because the credit was to make sure that they know how many they.
Yeah, and they will now,
Yeah.
that it's coming from the club.
Yeah.
A check from the club, they'll know how many.
How many
they've got.
did we challenge, did we do?
We did 3 and we challenged them to do 3.
And Rick did one by
Right,
himself.
so we
That's
should
4.
give us.
So I thought we left here with 6.
I thought it was 6.
Because he needed what, 6 to finish out?
6 total from the group of chairs, which is 6 times 150, whatever that is.
900.
And I've already sent in 150, so with the rest, it can go to
Check
G.
tomorrow, next week.
That'll be fine.
Okay. And we're allowed to go over. But Bill was very moved, and I know some of y'all were moved. I was watching you with the presentation about the Philippines and how difficult it is. And those of us who were charter members remember that was one of our earlier projects.
Yes.
Wheelchair projects we first started the club.
And I made a comment, I think I sent a comment out, that this is the quality of programs that we need to bring. Even though he
Exactly.
was asking for
Right.
support.
Yeah.
This is the level of the quality.
And that's the kind of thing we want to focus on for next year, quality programs.
Absolutely.
Well, it just
And-
makes you look on how good you have it in life.
Amen. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I had breakfast with Bill afterwards, and he had many, many kind of things to say about the club. And
Good.
the amount of good stuff that this small group does is recognized throughout the district. So
That's cool. Thanks. And thank you all, because you made an impression on him. No question about it. All right, let's take a look at the budget in the few minutes we have left.
Can I send around
Yes,
March,
please.
March report and the latest account balances? So if you have, that's for March. If you have any questions, let me know, but the documents are attached. I'm sorry about the small writing, Kenny, but I was trying to put it all on one page.
I can get you bigger paper.
No, well, that's the problem. I end up with a big.
You probably don't get really excited
All right.
looking at financial reports this morning. There's good enough of that.
I got plenty of it.
What year was what? 220.
Rick,
Check that over.
we got, this budget lasts like 1,000 years.
1,000 years?
Yeah, it's 2019 to 220.
Rick, what's up?
Don't tell Wayne.
You've been to pets too. and I
Yeah,
can't
it's amazing.
It's about 18,000 1 year.
We're gonna be here for a while. All right, let's take it line by line.
All right, let's do it.
At First Citizens, people
We took a look at the far right-hand column.
and look at their stock today.
We said, and this all, by the way, came from the retreat or the business session we had at Steve's office a few weeks ago. We are saying we think we can raise $20,000 next year. Hopefully it's gonna be more than that, but we're trying to be conservative. The cart in and out, $500. The fines, we think we'll get $300 in fines, probably get more than that. Rotary Foundation, we're basing this on a 25 members. So that would put up, because last year we based our budget on 23 members. We're basing it on 25 this time. And basing it on 25, we're looking at the district dues and what they're charging, we think that cost will be $36.75. We will eliminate the coffee sales line item. I'll just eliminate that when we do the final. It won't be seen on the final one. Jake's fund, $725. Richard thought that would be a good enough thing. Richard, do you know, or G, either one of you know what we did get by chance? Did we get close to that?
We had, well, let me look. Yeah, we collected, actually, well, this was done through March. This is done for the budget, so I didn't do the last month. By the end of this budget year, we should
Yeah, okay,
get
all
that.
right.
Because we're still collecting.
Right, yeah.
So
Okay.
I would say projecting it, we should be okay. We should be really close to that number.
We might want to clarify that this is really not for adults.
Jake.
This is for an event that happens at Richard's Church, typically in December or January. Winter warmth, and feed the needy sort of thing. And we do soup sandwiches, and we buy a ton of groceries to go bags.
And you get away clothing, blankets, etc.
And what happens, Tim, each day we come in, everybody gives Richard $1. And somehow, years ago, it became Jake's fund.
Yeah.
Jake is the name of his dog.
Yeah.
And so our sergeant at arms said, if you give him the Jake's fund yet, and
So that's what this
That's
money
stuff.
right here is for. Everybody gives $1.
Now, the retained earnings line, we're gonna leave blank yet. Now, what that is a figure that we put in to make sure everything balances. It could be a carryover. This is the chart going around tells you how much money we actually have in the bank. So we may have to take some from that in order to make it balance, okay? Grant proceeds, we think we're writing a grant, we think we'll get $1,500 at least, maybe more out of that for the grant that we're writing. And Rhino and I started work on that. So, we think our income will be 29.2, but that does not include the carryover yet. All right, so we should be getting over 3, Steve.
And please don't throw anything at me when I say this. How long has our dues been what they are? For a long time.
Since we started.
No.
Well, I mean that, okay,
No, change that.
the current thing has been in place since we talked to Janet Matthews here, and she worked it out with the cafeteria that we did not have to pay for our meals. Because, unless you went through and bought your own, you paid for yourself. Because it used to be that we were charged for the meals whether you ate or not. And I remember our quarterly dues were around $150
Right.
at that time. Now they're 60.
Yeah.
So since that point,
And
We did that one at my presidency, so I don't remember when that was, but it had to be 8 or 10 years ago, easy.
And my question is it time to bump it $5 or something?
well, it's very, very possible.
Something to think about.
And it is simply because Rotary has gone up, Rotary International has gone up on their district dues and things. And I have to get that final figure, but when I was at Pets, I was doing the math and it looked like we weren't perhaps getting enough to that. And gee, you may know what that's.
It's like $2 a quarter, I think, per person. It's
Okay.
somewhere in that.
All right. So it's worth a discussion. And bring that back up when we get closer to finalizing and we look at where our numbers are, okay? But I think right now it's a good selling point, if you're looking at new members, to say, bet it's $20 a month. That's your dues, $20 a month.
In my previous club, it was about 150.
Yeah.
Okay. Quarter. And.
Plus
my
they
memory-
had
if my memory
hand
serves-
time.
Yeah, and my memory serves me correctly, whether you ate or not.
Correct.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And that was a bone of contention for some people here,
Right, yeah.
saying, look, I'm paying and I don't eat breakfast, why am I paying? And we were told at that time, especially when we were down in the Bears Lair,
It was
that we had to.
It was $7 to $9,
Yeah.
depending on the time frame there,
Right.
per member, whether we ate or not.
Exactly, because they were charging us for that,
Sure.
taking the food downstairs and everything.
Okay,
Just
something
Yeah,
we can talk about.
okay. We definitely want to keep in pace with what RI is doing. All right, so now we look at our expenses. Last year, we put down 14,000 for our expenses, and got it. There were more than that, and I certainly hope I brought all that stuff. Because G, when we had that the meeting at Steve's, G had updated figures.
Well, it was actually 12,168.85 through March 15th. So we're actually a little under that,
which is good.
by 1839.15.
So we're anticipating perhaps,
Now, just one quick thing,
Sure.
because I've already sent in for like the extraordinaires, the deposit comes out of this budget for next year. Yeah, you're right. No, yeah, the next.
well, if you be out,
So that's not counted, 600.
but that'll show on this current year's budget.
It would if it
because
comes out this budget,
yeah,
correct.
okay.
Anything that comes out this budget, regardless of what it's for, will
Right,
be
right.
counted. So
Okay.
that doesn't count, so you'd add 600 to that.
Okay.
So anyway, we'll probably be at
Yeah.
this 14, I would
Okay,
say.
very good. Thank you.
Pretty close.
So we're anticipating about the same kind of thing again. Breakfast, if we go to other places, like we go to Starstead, if somebody brings biscuits or something, we gotta pay for that. And when we've gone to Classroom Connections, we wanna make sure we pay. If we go off campus and we eat, we have a little bit of fun for that. And I've highlighted things in yellow on purpose,
Last night.
because these we need to take a look at. The discretionary charitable contributions. This is a discussion point for us in a second. At least we'll begin the discussion. That's why it's blank right now. The district and Rotary Foundation, that's an in and out. Whatever we had for the income, that's what we have for the expenses. The same thing for CART. We put $1,000 instead of $5,000 for the money going to CDCC. It is going specifically, we had this discussion, I think I shared that letter with everybody who was at the meeting from Teresa. And I don't know where that letter is right now, but she,
Well, here's a copy.
yeah, here it is. Okay, you got it. Okay. Anyway, she says, last year you allowed us to place $1,000 of the scholarship funds into an emergency fund for the CVCC Multicultural Affairs Office to use with students that needed immediate assistance. This was overwhelmingly one of the greatest gifts that could have been given. And she goes on to tell how the things were used, and she asked for the continued thing. And since we would like to know specifically who benefits from our things, and this is one way to know. We know actual, Teresa knows this person, John Smith, got $50 to buy a book or whatever emergency needs for the kids. That way we know that money's going to a good purpose. But since we anticipate less income next year, we're just budgeting $1,000 for that. We can always adjust later, but right now we're trying to put together a conservative budget. But that's exactly that, and we're going to maybe change the word scholarship to something else, because it's not necessarily anymore going to go to help somebody's tuition. It's going to go to kids in need, specific needs. All right. Our meetings for officers. Help me remember, this is like when I go to a meeting or something like that as a president. Okay.
And international.
Sir?
This included international as well, if you want to go to.
Yeah, and I pay for some stuff myself, and Pets and G's pay me back for other things, and thank you, sir. Awards and recognition, and I need to get up with somebody, probably Rhino, when he comes back, because at our final meeting of the year, we need to hand out some awards and things, and so he and I work on that. While I'm saying that, please think about who you would nominate for Rotarian of the Year for us, okay? And I would prefer, I hope to remember to do this, that you just send me a name. Don't reply to the whole club necessarily, just send me a name, and I will present it to Donald either way. I think Donald will be available by then. I did talk to him. He's hurting physically. His lower back surgery. He's not moving around very well, but he's improving.
Can we do anything to help him?
I asked him that and he said not right now. So, but it's worth following up on him.
When did he have surgery?
Lower back. Last Thursday.
The 4th. Was it the 4th or something?
4th. Yeah, that was the day after our meeting. He had it, and
It's gonna be hurting for a couple of weeks.
Jim's had that surgery, so.
Would it be kinder just to shoot him?
Shooting? Well, we're not in Scotland, friend. We do things different in this country.
I feel the love.
We love you, Donald. All right, awards and recognition. So that our promotions, we added a little bit more because what we want to do next year is really to sell our club as best we can. Steve?
Just a quick pause on the award and recognition. We need to get some new members packets as well as we move forward. And we know we're going to bring new members in, and we need a packet ready.
Right.
And again, one of my pet peeves is the way we bring them in. I want us to make that a big deal
And
as we move forward.
thank you. That was brought up at Pets too. When we have a new member, that we need to make it special for that person.
Absolutely, absolutely.
As best we can. And, as membership chair, be thinking about how you want to make that happen.
Okay.
And we will, okay? Ryan or I will order the package. Thanks. Postage and delivery, the figure there is about what Glenn has spent this year. Printing and reproduction. And, you know, I know we've said this before in his presence and behind his back, but Kenny, we can't thank you enough for all the printing you do, and you do too much for free, my friend. You do run a business, and we'll be glad to chip in and help.
Does it look like I'm not eating?
No. I mean, I didn't think it was a real question, you know.
I'm worried about the rest of the family.
You just want to make sure that Jake and Kitty are well fed.
They're well fed, we're covered, we're okay there. All right, speaker gifts for the coasters, Wayne said that's a good enough figure. Our annual meeting, and we talked about that at the retreat. We said we're going to do a CBCC this year.
Yeah, we'd like to do it in the Workforce Solution
Yeah,
Complex.
that's right.
Through, Ronnie.
That's right.
Yeah.
You want to facilitate that?
Did we set a
It's
date?
June,
I thought the last Wednesday of the month.
but I think there was a conflict there, and we were going to.
There was.
I don't remember what it was.
So that cuts our budget, we don't need to spend that much, we're not gonna pay him that much. That was for food. $600? I'll look it up. I looked it up last time at the meeting, but it's actually very reasonable. Western Steer was very reasonable.
And good too.
Yeah, they were very.
I'll
I'll be
get back
going on the 25th, I think.
That was a problem, yeah.
Yeah. So
I'll look at my notes and see what we did on the day, because every time we came up with another date, somebody was going to be gone. Now, there are no figures for the next 4 that are highlighted, because again, all the highlighted ones are discussion points. We, the veterans, we are not going to ask for money from this club for stand-down. All right, for 2 reasons. One, help save the club some money, and 2, people have been extremely generous to us, to the veterans. We've gotten enough donations, we can afford it. We've had the discussion in here, if you get to $50,000 or something, we get over that, we want to make sure we don't go over that. And between the 2 accounts, Jim's got an account for Veterans Helping Veterans, and Larry, one of our buddies, has the account for the stand-down. We also have a dental account now. We put that money together because it's all under one heading. We got to make sure we don't go over 50, and so that's why we can afford to buy our own hot dogs and stuff right now, and it saved the club a few bucks at the same time. ROTC, this year we're committed to $500. What that does, and I've seen it firsthand, and Kenny can attest to this, it pays for their end of the year banquet. Probably doesn't cover the whole thing, but comes close anyway. And it's in this year's budget. I did not put it in because I want this to be part of the discussion. Because we've gotten in the habit of these are the 4, 5, 7 we're going to do every year. Well, maybe we should talk about that for all of them. All right. Also, same thing for Classroom Connections, and same thing for the Hickory Soup Kitchen. And please understand, I'm not saying we don't do these, but what I am saying, we should talk about these, all of them. And I've had a discussion, talk with Donald about that, he knows. Guest breakfast, we want to buy a guest breakfast, do that. Jake's Fund, in and out. Lackey Accounting, G said that's about a fair enough figure. For the square that G uses, it's about $100. And keeping the RI international expense. I think this is where, Steve, if we're going to go somewhere.
Okay. It's in addition to.
Yeah, in addition to the regular district meetings, the meetings for officers or the district, if I go to Asheville, whatever, that kind of thing. The May 18th, when a bunch of us are going up there, most of that's going to be free, I think, but whatever expenses can come out of that figure. You want to send me to Hawaii, it's all right with me. That's that bottom RI expense. Now, we are about out of time, which means there's no time for a 7:55. There's no time for the great discussion on the yellow highlighted things, but I need you thinking about those things. And I need heartfelt, honest, not only heart, but head, get your head into it, be thinking, not just with your heart, but with your head as well, as we'll keep this discussion going. This is April the 10th. We need a finalized budget by the club assembly in June.
Rick, so if, let's just assume that out of those 4 contribution items that highlighted, let's say you drop one of them, where you're pretty sure you're going to drop stand down, but let's say you do $1,500, that means we got to find some more income.
That's where that figure of the retained earnings comes in.
Okay.
Once we decide what we're going to spend it on, and we total that up, then we figure what's the difference between what we said we were going to earn. That's where the carryover.
So we still should be okay, even if we do 1,500 down here.
It should be, yeah.
Well, we've got 30,000.
But we should have a discussion. Was that?
We've got 30,000 sitting in the bank, right?
And that's where the carryover comes from.
Right.
And we don't want to eventually 5 years from now not have a carryover. Keep doing that.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to go back down that road.
I think we had a discussion once about a minimum.
We did. Was it 15,000? I think we said 15,000. We'd never go below.
Right. So we actually have, well, we don't have time to discuss it now, but the scholarship, do we not have commitments for people that we've already sponsored with a scholarship that we're going to have to do?
No.
No.
We got away from that concept years ago. When we chose the kids, we told them head up.
That's right.
We
Do
don't do
well,
that.
and we will continue to support.
Right, but now it's just going to a fund. Instead of going to a fund where we don't know who's getting it, now we know specifically who's going to get it. Any other questions?
Does some of that still go to tuition though, or not?
No.
It does, yeah, it could.
Yeah,
Whatever
the
the
1,000, if we're only going to give 1,000, then that's going to go to the emergency fund. Because you have kids who come in and class is ready to start, they had enough to get tuition paid, but they didn't have enough to get the book. And Rick said $50, he must be talking about a comic book or something.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
when you're able to give them a gift card from the bookstore to go get that book, that makes all the difference in the world. And they don't have to go through all the
Well, that's
bureaucracy.
a good.
Of the things we think, say, or do,
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank y'all.
Hope you'll consider it. It's a fun place to be.
Thank you, Rick.
Fine.
This is a member of the-
Okay.